Hi everyone. So myself Suresh, lecturer in mechanical engineering from Government Polytechnic Chegunta. I am going to deal with a subject called basic workshop technology, and the major topic is from a sheet metal work. And from this chapter, so today we are going to discuss about the some of the sheet metal joints. So by completing of this video class, so you'd able to know the following sheet metal joints. Okay. So in previous class also, so we have learned some of the sheet metal joints. So in continue with that, so these are the different sheet metal joints we can see here. So first one is dovetail seam, second flanged or bottom seam, third cap strip seam, fourth Pittsburgh seam, fifth slip joint seam. Okay, so now we'll go discuss about the all the five types of sheet metal joints. Okay, so among them first is dovetail seam. Okay, so among them the first is dovetail seam. Okay, so here we can see the diagrams of the different components which is made by the dovetail seam joints, okay, of a sheet. Okay, so in picture here, this is called a collar. Okay, so for that collar, so on the top of the collar, so we are marked some marking lines. So to cut the mark, to make cuttings on the mark points. Okay, so in the figure C, we can see so bending every other tab outs. Okay, so in picture B, it shows the some of the tabs. So in picture C, so it shows the bending every other tab outs. Okay. So in picture D, we can see so bending remaining tabs over flanges. Okay, over the flanges. So here he is doing the or so he is performing the remaining tabs over the flange. Okay, so now we'll discuss about the dovetail seam. So actually a dovetail seam is the process of joining a flat plate. Okay, so it is the process of joining flat plate to a cylindrical piece, so without the use of the solder screws or rivets. So by using without using the solders, screws, bolts and rivets, etc. So in this process we are making a joint. Okay, say by the cylindrical piece. Okay, so between the flat plate and the cylindrical piece, so here we are making a joints without using the soldering, screwing, bolts, rivets, welding, etc. Okay, right. So this is made by slitting the edge of the collar. So how this dovetail seaming joint is forming. So this is made by slitting the edges of the collar sheet. Okay, so slitting the edges of the collar and bending every other tab. Okay, so by it is made by slitting the end of the collar. Okay, so slitting the end of the collar and bending every other tab. Okay, so the bent tab acts as stops. Okay, so whatever you are bending every the tabs, so the bent tab act as stops, and the remaining straight tabs are bent bend over the part to be joined. Okay, so the bend joints act as the stops, and the remaining straight tabs are bent over the parts to be joined. Okay, so that is for dovetailed seam. So next one will be the flanged or a bottom seam. Okay, so this is the second one. Today we are going to discuss some of the sheet metal joints. So that is flanged or bottom seam. We can see the diagram of a flanged bottom seam. Okay, so here we are using it two different metal sheets. Okay, so here we are using the two different metal sheets. Okay, so this bottom seam is used. Okay, this bottom seam is used to join the bottom of the container. Okay, so this flange or bottom seam is used to join the bottom of the container to its body. Okay, next third one will be a cap strip seam. Okay, you can see here. So cap strip seam. So here we are taking three metal strips. Okay, this is first one, second, and the third one. Okay, so this third one is bent for both the edges. Okay, like a seam. So for both the edges of the third sheet, so we can make them into a C shape. Okay, so next remaining first and second sheets are bent at one end of the sheets. So then after, so just we have to insert these two sheets into the third sheet. Okay, so that we can make a lock joint, that is a cap strip joint. Okay, we can see here. So this cap strip seam is generally used for assembling cross seams of ducts. Okay, so this is generally used for assembling cross seams of ducts. Okay, next, so this provides strength and good appearance. So this type of seam which provides a good strength and good appearance. Okay, that is strong strength. Next one will be a Pittsburgh seam. Okay, the Pittsburgh seam. This seam consists of two parts. So, so this Pittsburgh seam consists of two parts. So we can see here those two parts: the single lock and the pocket lock. A single lock and a pocket lock. So these are the two parts for the Pittsburgh seam. Okay, so we can see those two parts. The single lock is placed in the pocket lock and the flange is hammered. So what we are doing here, the single first part, the single lock is placed in the pocket lock. So part 1 is placed in the part 2 and the flange is hammered. Okay, so it is used as a corner seam for variously shaped pipes. Okay, so this type of seam is used as a corner seams for variously shaped pipes. Okay, next we can see this. They are the diagrams of Pittsburgh seams. Okay, so Pittsburgh lock. Yeah, okay. In this is a Pittsburgh lock. Okay, and this will be the preparation. You can see here. Okay, so preparation of a Pittsburgh lock. Okay, and so this edge is placed into this preparation of a Pittsburgh lock. Okay, so it just joined. Then after finished lock. So by using the flange, by bending this flanged part of this sheet, so we are making the finished lock. Okay. Next one will be a slip joint seam. Okay, we can see the diagrams of a single lock, double lock, and locks slipped together. Okay, lock slipped together. This is a slip joint seam. Okay, we can see now. This seam is used for a longitudinal corner joints. So what type of corner joints the seam is using? So the seam is used for a longitudinal corner joints. Okay. So this slip joint seams consists of a single lock and a double lock. Okay, so here we have a two locks, that is two parts, single lock and a double lock. The single lock is slipped into the double lock to complete the assembly of seam. Okay, so in this, the single lock is slipped or placed into the double lock, so to complete the assembling of the seam. Okay, next, now we would like to know the meaning of the fastenings. So actually what are fastenings, we can see here. Okay, so we can see the fastening definition. So joining two parts of a production or product. Okay, so during the manufacturing process, so joining of two parts of a product. So during the manufacturing process is called a fastening. Okay, this is a definition of a fastening. That is joining of two or more parts or two parts of a product during the manufacturing of the component. So this is called a fastening. Okay, the metal sheet is cut as per the development of the object. So based on the development of the object, the sheet metal is going to be cut. So next, the edges then joined by different types of fastening methods. So by using different types of fastening methods, so here the operator is going to join the edges of the sheet. Okay. Next we can see the different types of fastening methods. Okay, so we can see the first one is riveting, second soldering, third brazing, and the fourth one will be spot welding. So these are the four fastening methods. Okay, these are the four types of fastening methods. Okay, so now we can discuss about the each and every fastening method briefly. Okay, so we can see here. So riveting, first method is riveting. So riveting is a permanent fastening method. Okay, so basically, so this riveting is a permanent fastening method by using rivets. So rivets are also have different shapes and sizes. So by using those rivets, so here we are making a permanent joint. Okay. Next, the rivets are used to join two or more sheets, okay, of metals together. Okay, so by using different sizes and shapes of the rivets, so we are making or we are joining the two or more sheet metals, okay, together. Next, so these rivets are made of earth iron. So these are the materials prepared prepared of rivets. Okay, so these rivets are made of either wrought iron, mild steel, copper, and brass. So by using these materials, the rivets are made. Those are wrought iron, mild steel, copper, and brass. Okay, so next, so it is customary to use rivets of this same material as the parts that are being joined. So, so it is customary to use the same rivets as that of the materials are used. Okay, that are going to be joined. Next, we can see the parts of rivets. Okay, so this is a diagram of a rivet. Okay, so this is a diagram of a rivet, and this part is called shank, rivet shank, and this will be a rivet head. Okay, and from this point to this point, so this length is called shank length, or basically a length, and this is a diameter of the shank. Okay, this is they are the different parts of rivets. Okay, now we can see the different types of rivets. Okay, so now we can see the different types of rivets. Okay, so first one will be a snap or cup rivet. Okay, so first type of rivet is a snap or a cup rivet. Second, counter sunk rivet. Counter sunk rivet. Third, flat rivet. Flat rivet. Next, fourth is tin man's rivet. Okay, so fourth will be a tin man's rivet. So now we'll go discuss about all four types of rivets here. So among them is first one is snap rivet or a cup rivet. Okay, so now we can see the diagram of a cup or snap rivet. Okay, so based on the shape of the rivet head, so here it is named as a cup rivet. Okay, snap or a cup rivet. So, right. The snap or cup rivet is used for heavy work. Okay. Next, second one is a counter sunk rivet. So this is a diagram of a counter sunk. Okay. So we can see the head of the rivet. Okay, as compared to the previous one, that is cup rivet. So this is different. So it has tapers on the edges of the heads. Okay, so this type of rivets are used for thick materials. Okay, so this is used for these rivets are used for thick materials. Okay, next one is flat rivet. We can see here the head of the rivet is in flat, like a flat. Okay, so these flat rivets are used for riveting flat bars. Okay, and angle sections. Okay, so these flat rivets are used for riveting the flat bars and angle sections, okay, to sheet metal. Next, last one will be a tin man's rivet. Okay, tin man's rivet. So there are the different types of rivets we are using in sheet metal work. So that is last one is tin man's rivet. So we can see the diagram of a tin man's rivet. Okay, the shank is this is a tapered shank rivet. Okay, tapered shank tin man's rivet. The head is similar to the flat rivet. Okay, but the size, the shape of the shank is different. Okay, so this the shape of the shank is like a tapered. So this is a tapered shank tin man's rivet. Okay, right. So this type of rivets are widely used in general work for general purpose. So we are using this type of rivets. Okay, so now we can see the stages of rivetings. Okay, so now we can see the stages of rivetings. So making the holes on sheet. Okay, so how we are making a joint we can see now. So making the holes on the sheet, that is the first stage of riveting. Okay, next first is we have to make the holes on the sheet. Next, the size of the hole depends on the size of the rivet. Based on this rivet size, so we have to make the same size of the hole on the sheet. That is the shape of the size of the hole, so which will depends on the size of the rivet. Okay, next, the size of the rivet. Okay, so depends on the thickness of the sheet. So based on the thickness of the sheet, so the we are selecting the sizes of the rivets. So based on the size of the rivets, so we have to make the same size of the holes on the sheet. Next, fourth point, we can see the fourth stage or fourth point. So keeps the selected rivet in the hole. Okay, keep the selected rivet in the hole and rivet head is formed. Okay, so first what next what you have to do after third stage is completed. So keep the selected rivet. Okay, so within the hole and rivet head is formed by the uh, blowing on the head of the blowing on the other remain projected of the rivet, projection of the rivet, so that the head is rivet head is formed. Next, The rivet head is made by rivet set. So by using the rivet set, this rivet head is formed. Okay, so it gives two blows on the rivet set. So by giving the two blows on the rivet set, so we can make a rivet heads. Okay, next, so one blow flattens the rivet down. Okay, and the other blow is to complete the formed rivet head. So first, by giving first blow, so flattens the rivet down. Okay, then other blow which is to be complete the forming of the rivet head. Okay, next we can see continue the stages of the rivetings. Okay, so drawing rivet up, so in first figure. Second, shaping rivet head, so by giving the blow on the hammer. And the third one is the forming rivet head. Okay, so we can observe the figure here. So in drawing of first one, so here we are using the rivet set. So on the rivet set, so here we have to give the blow. Okay, okay. Next we can see the riveting seam. Riveting seam, this is a diagram of a riveting seam. So this in this way, so we are joining the two metal sheets. Okay, so by just we have to give the blow on the rivet set, so that we can make the rivet heads. Okay, so that we can make the rivet joint. Okay, next, so next one is a finishing seam. We can see the finishing seam diagram. This is the way of finishing the seam after riveting. Okay, so finishing a riveted seam. Okay, right. So next one is a next fastening method is soldering. Okay, so the next fastening method is soldering. So solder already already we discussed in the previous class also regarding the soldering iron. So now we can discuss about that in a brief manner. Okay, so soldering is the process of joining two or more pieces, okay, of metals. So in this process we are joining the two or more metal pieces, so by means of an alloy. Okay, by using an alloy, so here we are making a joints of two or more metal pieces. Okay, so the melting point of alloy is lower than the base metal. Okay, so how much the melting point of alloy? So the melting point of the alloy is lower than that of the base metal. Okay, so base metal is nothing but the two metal pieces. Those are the base metals. So the melting point of the alloy, whatever you are using in alloys, so the melting point for those metals should be lesser than the base metal. Next, so this alloy is called solder. Okay, that alloy is called solder. So the solder is composed of lead and tin. So here we are using the lead and tin as a alloy. Okay, so here we are using two metals. Those are lead and tin. So by combination of those two, that is lead and tin, so we are making an alloy. That alloy is called solder here. Okay. So this, to prevent the oxidation during the soldering flux is needed. Okay, so to prevent the oxidation during the soldering process, so solder flux is needed. Okay, to overcome the oxidation forming on the soldering spot. Okay, so we required a solder flux. Okay, next, the flux used in soldering, okay, is zinc chloride paste. So what we are using here? So here we are using the zinc chloride paste as a flux. Okay, used in soldering. Next, the soldering is done by using a soldering iron. Okay, so by using a soldering iron, so we are performing a soldering operation. Next, so this is adapted for joints for watertight seams. Okay, so the soldering process is done for joints for watertight seams. Okay, you can see this is a diagram of a soldering process. Okay, so here we can see this will be a solder. Okay, lead and tin material. Okay, and this will be a soldering iron. So this is the direction of the soldering. Okay, that is downward or left leftward direction. Okay, next we can see the stages of soldering. Okay, so first we can see the stages of soldering. So clean the surfaces of the jobs thoroughly. So before going to be soldering, so what we have to do? So you have to clean the surface of the jobs thoroughly. Okay, that is, so without having any dust. Okay, just we have to clean the surface of the workpieces. Next, so fix them in the bench wise. Okay, so what are the metals we are going to be joined? So those metals are going to be fixed in the bench wise. So then after apply flux on the surface of the solder. So then what we can do? Just we have to apply the flux on the surface of the solder. Okay, what type of flux? Zinc chloride paste. We are applying the zinc chloride paste as a flux. Okay, on the which is going to be soldered. Next, heat the soldering iron to the required temperature. So then after what we have to do? So we have to heat the soldering iron to a required or appropriate temperature. Okay. Next, so dip the soldering iron bit into solder. So then what you have to do? Then we have to dip the soldering iron bit into the solder. So then apply solder at the joint. Okay. Then what we have to do? Apply the solder at the place of which is going to be joint, that is joint area. Next, after cooling, then after cooling, so clean the joint with the water or cloth. Okay, after solidification or cooling, clean the joint area so with the help of a water or cloth. Okay, now we can see the some of the fastening methods, that those are brazing and spot welding. We can see now. So already we discussed first two, that is riveting and soldering. So third one will be a brazing. Okay, you can see here. So this brazing is similar to soldering. Okay, the process, the fastening method, that is brazing method of fasting method is similar to the soldering process only, but so which gives much stronger joint as compared to the soldering joint. Okay, so as compared to the soldering joint, so this brazing joint is much stronger joint. Next, so actually what is a brazing? You can see here. So brazing is a process of joining two similar or dissimilar metals. Okay, so it is a process of joining. So it is a process of joining two or more similar or dissimilar metals. So by means of an alloy. So by means of an alloy. So here we are joining the two similar or dissimilar metals. Okay, so what are similar metals? So two metals having the same properties, that is similar examples are iron and iron, copper and copper. Okay, so brass and brass. Okay, silver and silver, those are the lead and lead. Those are the two different metals. Okay, those are the similar metals. Okay, even though there are two, those are the similar metals. Okay, so dissimilar means, so we are using two different types of metals. So those are brass and copper. Okay, tin and lead, in this way. Okay, so this process is it is a process of joining two similar or dissimilar metals by means of an alloy. Okay, so the melting point of alloy is lower than the base metal. Okay, so this is also similar to the same as soldering iron. Okay, so the melting point of an alloy is lower than the base metal. Okay, next, the alloy is called spelter. Okay, this alloy is called spelter. In the brazing we can call that the alloy is called spelter, and in soldering we can call it as a solder. Okay, the spelter is an alloy of copper and zinc. Okay, so what the spelter is an alloy of a copper and zinc. Okay, so borax is used as a flux. Okay, so borax is used as a flux here. Okay, next, the melting point of spelter. Okay, the melting point of spelter is around 600 degrees centigrade. Okay, so around 600 degrees centigrade, the melting point of spelter will have. Okay, we can see the brazing process here in this diagram. Okay, the vertical cylindrical one is the workpiece. Okay, so we are joining the vertical cylindrical workpiece and the uh, disc shaped metals. You can see here. Okay, so here we have a filler rod, that is a spelter. Okay, you can see the brazing procedure now. Okay, the ends of the metal pieces. Okay, the ends of the metal pieces which are to be brazed or cleaned well. Okay, so in, okay, the ends of the two metal work pieces which are going to be brazed or should be clean. Okay, next, the pieces, that is those two pieces, the metal pieces are assembled with appropriate clearance for the filler material. Okay, so the two work metal pieces are going to be assembled with appropriate clearance for the filler material. Okay, next, the flux, that is nothing but borax flux is applied on the joint ends. Okay, next, the metal ends are heated. Then after, the joint ends, that is metal ends are heated. The spelter is heated to a plastic state. Then what we have to do? The spelter is then heated to a plastic state. So the liquid spelter is distributed between the surfaces by ca- uh, capillary action. By the capillary action, so we are distributing the liquid spelter, so between the surfaces which is going to be brazed. Okay, the spelter is allowed to solidify. Then after, so what we have to do, the spelter is going to be solidify, then a strong joint is formed. Okay, and the last fastening method is welding. Okay, last fastening method is welding. We can see here. Okay, so that is spot welding. Spot welding. Okay, so actually what is a welding? So welding is a process of joining two or more similar or dissimilar metals. Okay, in another way, so it has a different it has a number of definitions. Okay, okay, right. So the spot welding is a permanent joint process. Okay, so it is a permanent joint process or joining process. So it is the process used to join either two similar metals or dissimilar metals. So here also we can use either two similar metals or dissimilar metals. Okay, so by the application of heat or heat and pressure. Okay, by while applying the heat and pressure, the interatomic bonds of the metals will change. Okay, that's why you should make a joint. The metals are joined by the application of heat and pressure. Okay, or also heat. Okay, the joint is filled with a filler material. The joint is then filled with filler materials. So now we can see the principle of spot welding. Okay, now we can see the principle of spot welding. Okay, so it uses the principle of resistance welding. The spot welding uses the principle of resistance welding. Okay, so heat generated is expressed by H is equals to I square R capital R small t. So this heat generated is expressed by the equation, that is H, capital H is equals to capital I square into capital R into T. This is the heat generated expression. Okay, so where capital H is equals to heat generated during the welding. Okay, heat generated during the welding, and I is the current, R is the resistance, and T will be the time of flow of current. Okay, so H is heat generated during the welding, I current, R resistance, and T is time time of flow of current. Okay, now we can see the line diagram of the spot welding. We can observe the each and every part here. Okay, so these are the two metal pieces which is going to be welded. Okay, either similar or dissimilar metals. Okay, and this we can say this will be a transformer. Okay, from this transformer the current is flowing, okay, to the weld spot area. Okay, so first these two are the electrodes. Okay, first and second, these two are the electrodes, and the third one will be, this is a movable arm. This is a movable arm, and the fourth one will be a fixed arm. Okay, this is not movable or adjustable. This is a fixed one, and this will be a adjustable arm. Okay, and this will be a frame. Okay, this for this frame, these arms are fixed. This is adjustable frame, adjustable arm, and this is a fixed arm. Okay, bottom one will be a fixed arm, and the top arm is a adjustable or movable arm. Okay, so between those two electrodes we are placing a two similar or dissimilar metals. Okay, so which is going to be welded. Now we can see the procedure of spot welding. Okay, the pieced to be joined. Okay, the metal pieces which is going to be joined are cleaned thoroughly. Okay, next, so they are placed between two electrodes. Next, the electrodes are pressed. Okay, so then after, what will happening after placing the metal piece between the two electrodes? So by the electrodes, the electrodes are pressed to get the required pressure on the sheets. Okay, by moving the upper arm, okay, onto the metal plates, so we can get the pressure. Okay, we are applying the pressure, okay, on the sheets. Next, the current is then passed through the electrodes. So from the transformer, slowly the current is passed to the electrodes. Okay, you can see the diagram here. This is the diagram of a spot welding. Okay, resistance spot welding. Okay, RSW. Okay, so here we can see reddish color low. So this is weld spot. Okay, So here we are using the alternate power supply, that is alternate current. Okay, so these two are the work materials, either similar or dissimilar metals, which is going to be weld. And this will be a movable electrode, and this will be a, so this is a tang, that is arm, movable arm. It for this, so electrode is fixed, and this will be a another arm, that is fixed arm. Okay, so by moving these arms, okay, so we can apply the pressure on the metal sheets or sheet metals. Okay, so that we can make a joint by the application of pressure and also heat. Okay, so the metal plates are heated to a plastic state. Okay, so the metal under electrodes are pressed and squeezed. So what will happening? The metal plates are heated to a plastic state by the passing of the current into the electrodes. Okay, then the metal under electrodes are pressed and squeezed. Okay, next, during the current passing, okay, the duration of the current passing is about 10 seconds. Okay, so the current passing duration is about 10 seconds. Okay, the time taken to pass current is called time weld or weld time. Okay, what is weld time? The time taken to pass the current, okay, into the metal plates is called weld time. Okay, next, on cooling the joint is, on cooling the joint is welded. Okay, on cooling the joint is welded. The whole process is completed in 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, so the whole process, that is the whole spot welding is completed in 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, this is the end of the class.